tuned to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Martha Matters Show. We're broadcast on 107.9 FM, also podcast, and we're here on live stream and on Facebook and on YouTube. And now here she is, your host, Martha.
Well, hi there, and welcome. We're in an interesting topic, and I'm bringing it up now, even though we're in the holiday season, simply because a lot of people have been asking about it to me and to other members of the staff. So I'm going to I've got to tell you, I'm not using all the medical terms. I'm not talking to a physician. I'm talking to the reality and the description of what happens. So keep that in mind, and it's also, you can understand it. The biggest problem is for those that know they're having trouble breathing and they're huffing and puffing, like they walk to the mailbox outside the house and all of a sudden they're breathing heavy. Well, a lot of that can be all kinds of a variety of blocking heart arteries or an irregular rhythm. So it has to be dealt with. An irregular rhythm we are not talking about today. That's when they insert a pacemaker or a defibrillator or both in one. That's another topic for another time. But that's what takes care of the irregular heartbeat. Now, separate from that, what's bad about having that problem is, just think of like a bathroom pipe. You turn it off when your heart stops beating for a split second, and then you turn the faucet on and you hear all the gurgling and everything rushes back and the water comes out again. Well, the same thing happens with irregular blood flow through your arteries. Now, believe it or not, other than an aneurysm, which is another topic, the aorta and the very big vessels usually don't get clogged. Why? Because they're consistently flowing all the time. Just think of it as a major sewer pipe. It never stops having water in it and never stops pushing the flow. The problem we have is with the smaller contributory vessels, just like smaller pipes that are in your house or apartment. That's where the troubles are, where they're very parallel in what I'm describing. Now, what happens if there's an irregular flow, like a clot in a smaller vessel? That clot can totally close the vessel. We call it occluding the vessel, but it basically is shut. And most clots are a percentage of the vessel is clogged. The inside of the vessel is clogged. So it may be 70%, maybe 20%, maybe 40%. But usually 40% or more gives you symptoms. And you really want to have it taken care of. If you play pickleball, that's not that strenuous, but it's a lot of exercise, or something else, and you're refrained from taking long walks, let's say, or a number of things, or even lifting dishes into cabinets around the house, and you know something's wrong, that is the time to go and have it taken care of. Mm-hmm. Now, what a stent is, and we have a picture of it for you momentarily. I want to compare a stent. You've seen this ad on the news of a pocket garden hose, and then you plug the garden hose into a water source, and all of a sudden expands to 36 feet long or more. And when you turn it off, it shrinks back down to a little more than your pocket size. Well, your vessels don't shrink down, but that's a very good analogy, because when the water is flowing smoothly, nothing happens. The vessel doesn't get larger. That is, the garden hose doesn't get larger, doesn't get smaller. It gives out the same amount of water that you really want. Well, your vessels are the same way. And if for some reason one is clogged, guess what? There is a big gurgling and backflow, and other vessels are strained more. They're the equivalent of other pipes. Was 70 to 100% in most cases, with everything being equal. A 70 to 100% clog involves a bypass surgery, which I'll explain later. But it really, a stent may not be that useful. So there are many doctors that put a stent in when there's that much clogging, but the stent doesn't expand all the way so that you have a nice big lumen or center of the pipe. And many people, and I know of a couple personally that had stents put in, and they really don't know much of a difference, if any at all, from their symptoms. And I really feel bad about that, but that is the case.
I want to back up, Martha, and I want to ask you a couple of questions about that. So you're talking about clogging people's arteries near the heart especially. And so you say that if you have the symptoms, a lot of times it's at only 40% blockage at that point. I mean, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. What is the clog coming from? Is it cholesterol? Because that's what you hear a lot about. The people need to control the cholesterol. And at 40%, what can people do, in your opinion, to maybe stop it along with help from their doctor?
All right. That's a very good question. What causes that is a number of things. Number one, if people take calcium, I remember I had an aunt who's passed away several years ago. She said, "Oh, I'm beating the system. I take a Tum for indigestion, and its main ingredient is calcium. So I don't need to worry about osteoporosis, bad bones, clogging the arteries." Yes, you do, because calcium by itself is no good. Calcium has to be in combination with magnesium and also vitamin D, especially D3. Now, if those are together in a pill form like you have from GNC stores, that's fine. Okay. But taking one item without the other two, guess what? The calcium, instead of going to your bones, drops out as little granules, because calcium is a mineral, and it lines your blood vessels. And the more and more you take calcium by itself over several years without the other two pieces of information with it, guess what? You are causing yourself hardening of the arteries. Okay. That's why they said way back, milk is a perfect food. We know it's not perfect. We're trying to reduce the fat. We have 1% milk, 2% milk, which is a big improvement. But it has all three together. That's why it's a perfect, perfect food. If you have reduced the amount of fat, animal fat, in milk, the three things, the magnesium, the calcium, and the vitamin D, is perfect. You drink some of that, like skim milk, like 1% milk, and all of that goes right to your bones and does not play a role in the hardening of the arteries.
But does it play a role in trying to clean some of that up, though?
Yes, it can. If you already have an issue, like as a toddler, I hate to say it, but I grew up where no meal was complete without meat, mashed potatoes, gravy, rolls, and butter. If one of those items were missing, it wasn't a complete dinner.
Right. Yeah, and salad dressing too.
Yeah, salad. Yeah, salad dressing. So we've come a long way from that. But people who eat French fries every day, which are made by cooking them in oil and stuff, we still have a problem culturally with too much fat.
Right. Okay.
And the fat will clog the arteries. People say all the time, you are what you eat. And that is so true. And you can reverse what you've eaten. I have a relative who went to the doctor for the first time when he was like 55 years old. The doctor said, boy, you're going to have a heart attack pretty soon. They did coronary x-rays and everything else, and he actually switched his diet, changed things around. Beef 1 day a week or 2 days a week at the most. The rest of the time you've got to get used to some fish, you've got to get used to some chicken without the fat, even without the skin. You have more salads, more vegetables. And he did that, and it took 2 or 3 years, but he cleaned up his vessels a lot.
Yeah.
So everything is reversible, but never forget, if you don't remember anything else, you are what you eat. You think you're losing weight if you skip a meal and eat a bag of Doritos. That's terrible. So getting back to this, and I explained a stent more like a garden hose, and the analogy is very good. If the blood goes through there, now that the stent has an open, not clogged, it's probably 100% open, you have a smooth blood flow, just like the water going through the garden hose, and everything is fine. Your symptoms go away, the heart has enough blood, and it solves many, many problems. And one of the advantages of a stent is it only takes like a week or two to fully recover. You can go home the same day, but you can only sleep in a couple of positions for 2 or 3 days because they don't want it to move or anything. They want it to stay firmly attached where they put it. And you can't lift heavy things for at least 2 weeks. But the point is, you're out of bed, you can walk around, you can do dishes and do your shower and take care of yourself. So the recovery is very fast from a stent. A bypass surgery, before I explain it, I'll tell you right up front, you have 1 to 3 months of real recovery before you can go back to work. It is a permanent thing, so is a stent, but if it is really needed, your vessel needs to be 70 to 100% blocked for a bypass surgery to be very effective. And there are many people that don't have it of their big vessel. They have contributory vessels that are blocked, and you've heard of triple bypass. Those are 3 vessels, but they're much smaller, and they'll put all 3 stents in at the same time. And that has been very successful. But 70 to 100% blockage, bypass is the only option. You can't even get a stent in there if it's 100% blocked, and you're going to disturb clots to get the stent in there, and then guess what? The clots will go to the brain and you'll have a stroke.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, how vicarious all of this stuff really is with, and, you know, again, we're not doctors, and how to decide what you're going to do. That's why I was wondering if there are more things that are preventative that people should know about beforehand. I mean, you always should get prevention before you even get to that kind of seriousness.
Absolutely. They're going to try prevention and monitor you every 3 months, and there are all the usual blood thinners. Different ones work on different people, like beta blockers work on some but not all.
Okay.
Calcium channel blockers work on some people but not all. And you have angiotensin blockers. You have a number of them, along with the good old aspirin and nitroglycerin. There's a whole bag of different ones that doctors will try, and they'll do all of that before they jump into recommending a stent or even bypass.
Okay, and does that go along with the cholesterol medications too? You hear about the statins, and I think there's some new ones, because statins kind of have a bad reputation with a lot of people for the side effects and stuff, so they have other newer non-statin type.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. There are plenty of them. A lot of people, I think Crestor is the one that people are very upset about. Percentage of people, I think, got cancer, but not everybody.
Okay.
As another symptom of somebody who's taken Crestor for more than 15 years or something like that. So, and they're saying... And the doctors aren't even paying much attention to that, because they say, well, most people on Crestor are going to be in their 70s and 80s, so what's another 15, 20 years? You'll probably die of other natural causes.
But that's just our opinion, Martha.
So, no, but that's the way some doctors think, not all, and it's not recommended medical advice.
Right.
I have a guy who was a heavy smoker, had a blocked big artery, needed the bypass, had the bypass. It was most successful, and the physician did something he probably shouldn't have done. He said, well, this bypass surgery was so successful, you're going to live another 20 years. And he said, and he went home and said, oh, I'm not going to give up smoking. I've been guaranteed another 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, right. So he was just keeping his new lifestyle.
And sure enough, he died a couple of years later because, I mean, it wasn't a couple cigarettes a day. He was one of these 1 and 2 packs a day, a really chain smoker. The doctor probably shouldn't have said that. He meant well.
He meant well. I thought maybe you said that we were going to say the doctor sent him the bill and then he had a heart attack. Once you got that bill, wow.
Wow, yeah, that will cause a heart attack, and it has sometimes.
Yeah, well.
Just the copay will cause a heart attack.
That's right.
Okay, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, but really stay with us. We have a lot to tell you. I want to introduce you to our main sponsor, Highland Plaza, located on US 1 on the east side of the Highland Drive traffic light. We even have our own left-hand turn lane. One of the places in there, the first one on the north side, is Easy Stop, and you will be surprised what competitive and beautiful prices they have. You should give it a shot. Also, Tony's Hairstyling Salon is ideal for the entire family at all ages. He and his wife have run a salon there for years with a huge following. Also, we want to tell you about La Taberna Restaurant. It has the freshest Mexican food in town and a well-experienced chef. You will be most surprised not only by the food, but the reasonable prices. Also, I want to tell you about the nail salon. It's Luxury Nails. Let me tell you, they do everything, both for walk-in clients and appointments. Appointments are really appreciated, but they treat all clients professionally. Now, I want to repeat to you, this is located on US 1, just east of Highland Drive at the traffic light. It's a beautiful yellow building with a maroon awning. We look forward to seeing you there. Come on over.
Ladies, are you looking for a change but just don't know how to get there? Don't miss the Women's Life Mastery event, a roadmap for change to becoming your best self. 10 fabulous women sharing their expertise for real ways to positive change. This holiday season, invest in yourself and register today to discover and become your best self. Breakfast, lunch, swag, and more. The Women's Life Mastery event, Saturday, January 13th at Joy Farms in Vero Beach. Visit CIAcertified.com today for more details. CIAcertified.com.
Right now at Sunshine Furniture, it's holiday sale time, so you can save up to 50% on selected groups of indoor and outdoor furniture from Lloyd Flanders, Telescope, Windward, Capri, Seawinds, Universal, and lots more. Sofas, love seats, dining sets, patio groups, occasional chairs, bedroom sets, all on sale just in time to make Santa say ho, ho, ho. Also, all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half off. And don't forget to visit our outlet and sales store just across the street from our main location for lots of great holiday bargains. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza next to Planet Fitness in Vero Beach. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture brightens up your day. Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day. Sunshine Furniture.
Advertising is essential. You've got to make people aware that you're there. We can do that with a cohesive marketing campaign from Evergreen Media. Based on your business goals, we'll create a mix of digital advertising on social media sites like Facebook, video advertising on streaming sites like Hulu and Paramount Plus, and supplement them with local TV and radio ads. Build awareness, educate, and inform the public with a cohesive marketing campaign by Evergreen Media. Check out egreenmedia.com or search online for Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
And we're back with Martha and the Martha Matters.
Well, welcome. We don't have much time, but I want to mention that this procedure discussion is in 2 different episodes, part 1 and part 2. So look for the second part, and also in between times, if you want to call me up, you're welcome to it. There's just one more thing I want to quickly throw your way, and there's a very new technique within the last couple of years. It's called laser therapy. Now, this is not good for clogged vessels, but if a vessel shrinks or folds up on itself, like a garden hose or something, you can put a crimp in the vessel, just like a garden hose. This laser therapy will straighten it out and open it up. Now, if you have loose clots all over the place, you can't use laser therapy. But instead of stents, I should say, stents, laser therapy is an option in many patients. So I just want you aware of that technique. Think of it as straightening out a vessel, and it doesn't have the high risk of breaking off a clot and causing a stroke to the brain or something like that, clogging a brain vessel. So on that, I better let you guys go. Have a good week. And listen to my next one. I'm going to talk more about bypass surgery and which one you should really choose if you have to have it. Have a good day.